the way to do it. Jesus Christ, read the whole stat.
And they are 22-16 against the spread as well. But this is -2. It's a negligible spread.
It's not negligible. This is the fine margins of football.
What are you talking about?
Tim's
What
about
are
to
you
blow.
talking about? What are you talking about?
What up, Snapback Bets fam? Welcome back. Week 6 NFL, our 5 best bets. I'm Jack Settleman. We've got Casey, the intern, a.k.a. the fish of the show. We've got Timmy Sharps in Boston, and we've got Uppy, your drunk, degenerate uncle. But because this is a show for work, he's sober, at least I think.
Just out of curiosity, at what point do we strip titles?
Well, we're not stripping titles, but if Tim does give the recap and shares the numbers, maybe that can be a discussion.
Last week, Jack lays it with the Bears, wins. He's 3-2 on the season. Casey lays it with Baltimore. He's 3-2 on the season. Settlement boys combined 6-4 on the season.
Let's go.
Bozo, is that Uppy here in the recap? Yeah, Uppy. He had the Browns plus 3.5. He's still 3-2 on the season though. I had the Saints plus 5.5. That's a loss. I am 1-4. The consensus was the Arizona Cardinals. We got our first win on the consensus this season, 1-4 overall for the consensus, and that brings
I thought we had consensus last week. No,
This was our first consensus.
Okay.
No, because we got was that New Orleans?
That was we lost by the half point.
Half point.
Or was it
Oh
Atlanta?
yeah, we should have won with the Niners, and then ChatGPT screwed us.
Yeah,
I'm not. I mean, look, we're a show, and over the last 2 weeks, we're 7-3. I mean, if you hit 70% of your bets, you're a rich man. So I don't think we need to strip any titles. Are you requesting a title strip? I think if I were you, I'd be more focused on last week where you wanted to use your X on the Commanders.
No, I have a ton of things to say.
Okay.
I mean, me using my X on the Commanders, I would like to list out the things that were said by the 3 people
Go ahead.
on this. So the response was 1, all this did was make me want to bet the Browns more. That's the guy next to me.
Correct.
The drunk uncle, his quote was, yeah, now I'm going to triple up on that. And then the quote-unquote Sharp said, all right, give me a second. I'm going to smash the Browns as we speak. So
to be fair, your bet of the year was the Panthers plus 4.5, which did not cover against Cincy. Yep.
Against Tim.
Yeah.
I don't know if I definitely wouldn't consider that my bet of the year.
Well, you said it.
Sure
You said it.
I don't think
Okay.
that's
Well, Uppy will just go in the archives.
yeah. Whatever.
You're just a Ravens merchant.
No, Uppy said.
And you shouldn't have
Uppy
covered last
apologized. He said, I'm an idiot. You were correct, which was very mature of him. It's just like, it was his pick, but you two also had a lot to say.
No, I like
and then no apology after the fact.
Apology? You didn't have the balls to use your X.
Oh, I was practically castrated for wanting to use my X.
But Jedrick Willis was practicing on Thursday. Like,
whatever.
Like,
Keep betting on Deshaun Watson. See how that goes.
That is one of my favorites for this week. But Casey, are you taking the Ravens for your pick this week?
As I am the Ravens whisperer, it would feel wrong to go against Daniels after everything I've said, even though historically we do dominate rookie quarterbacks. But that is not my play. My play this week, I'm going to stay away from the Ravens. My play this week is the Buccaneers.
You love it so much that you forgot what
was
it
the
was?
number? 3.5, I believe, is the number. Buccaneers minus 3.5. The Saints are playing bad ball. And Spencer Rattler is coming in. And I feel like that's important and not part of the roster. The fact of who the quarterback is going to be is a very important point, is it not?
It is.
But to be fair, Casey,
I wasn't even doing the roster thing.
It wasn't even Rattler that came in last week, so I don't know. I guess we'll have to see.
No, they announced it's Rattler.
All right, well, I will be cutting that. Thank you.
No, you have to keep that in. You 100%.
It means Casey made a good point in making sure we knew that who the starting quarterback was.
Yes,
Thank you.
Fair.
See,
smash that subscribe button for more information.
The other guy is escaping my head. All I think is
Roche
Groupie.
Schneider or whatever.
No, the quarterback who came in.
Yeah, Roche.
It was. I think wasn't it Chad Henne?
No, guys, come on. It was the model. What's his name?
Brad Johnson.
The guy who. No, the Saints quarterback.
I don't know his
Jake
name. It was like,
Hayner.
Oh, Jake
Hayner,
Hayner,
thank you.
Jake Hayner,
Jesus
Jake
fuck,
Hayner.
yeah.
Yeah.
wait, he's
Chad
a
Henne-
model?
He has like when he came out, the rookie class, he took those pictures. They went viral, whatever. Jake Hayner came in, obviously did not look good. Spencer Rattler.
Wait, didn't look good on the field, but he looked good.
Yeah, he looked good in general. So they're going to Spencer Rattler. I think the fact that Rattler originally was not the second string kind of tells you a little bit. And people are like, Rattler has been this name since high school. And then he didn't put it together in college. He had that one good year at Oklahoma. And then I think people gassed. I think people thought he was dead. And then when he had the last solid season at South Carolina, people were like, oh, he could be solid. Whatever. He's a 5th-round pick. He's being thrown to the Wolves against a very good Buccaneers team who's coming off of Thursday Night Football, 10 or 11 days of rest. And I love where the Buccaneers are at. Obviously, Saints have lost 3 straight. I'm on Bucks -3.5. What is so fucking funny about what I said?
Very good Buccaneers team.
I feel like the Bucks have been good this year. Is that crazy?
I just think I wouldn't establish him as very good. Tim, Uppy, thoughts on the pick?
Well, the most important part of the handicap is the adjustment from Derek Carr to Spencer Rattler. So you think it's beyond. So the look ahead was Saints -2.5. Now it's Saints +3.5. So is that just, so you're saying it should be wider? Like this thing should be 4.5, even,
Yeah. I think Rattler gets a big name and people think he's going to be good just because it's
Who's
Spencer
saying
Rattler.
that? Who's saying that? Who have you heard
Public.
say that?
No, that's true. The public is excited about Rattler.
Public's
We had
excited
a
about
conversation
Rattler,
in the office today, and I had to shoot them down and say,
Like he was
hasn't
the
been good in
guy
like
coming out
7
of high
years.
school. He's just not that good of a quarterback. The Saints are struggling to run the ball a little. Their offensive line's a little bit banged up. I think that's what they thrived in the beginning of the season, playing off of the run with some play action.
I agree with you on Rattler, but where do you have Derek Carr power rated at this point in the season?
To be completely honest, you guys can do the whole power ranking, what it was coming out the line. Did they over adjust, under? I don't give a flying fuck if I'm being completely honest. I love the Bucks -3.5. You could power rate my fucking dick if you want to at this point. The Bucks is the play.
Well, that convinced me.
So-
Honestly, that was a very
Right? Thank you. I
strong-
knew Uppy would
strong
love
take.
power
So just
Good
for
vibes.
context for everyone, my good buddy who I used to live with, his name's Teddy. He texted the Fish last week and he said, "Don't let these guys get on you about naming the roster and your picks. You're winning bets right now." And I don't think just because of that, we're gonna stop trying to filter
love it.
through
I
the
love it.
information.
I'm the Fish. I don't need all that.
Sure,
bullshit.
power rate your dick.
And by the way, it was not just your ex-roommate. Our head of operations at Snapback Sports also texted me, "Hey, for what it's worth, I agreed with 80 to 90% of what you said last week. Don't listen to them."
The Ravens were possibly one of the worst handicaps of all
No, the Browns were the worst handicap.
time. I said one of.
Yeah.
The Browns were
All right,
the worst.
well, that's my play.
okay.
um,
Power rate this. Let's go
How
Baker.
do we feel in general?
We don't like it. Like obviously, Tim
No
and I
one likes
don't
it?
like
Okay.
No, my thing is like, it's just, you're getting like the absolute worst of like, I guess this adjustment, like if that makes sense. Like everybody knows now that Spencer Rattler's playing, the line moves and you're like, no, it needs to be more than that. And also too, the whole like, oh, Spencer Rattler, people are excited about him. Like he was, a big high school prospect. How many years ago was he a high school prospect? Like,
Well, that's the
I-
point.
I
I think that's
no,
my point.
I will
think
say
that's my point is
he-
people are still holding on.
He had a
to
monster preseason, so there was a little bit of a regeneration of the Rattler hype during the preseason. Like going into week 1, I follow a couple Saints fans, and they were hoping Carr would crash out super early and Rattler could continue what he did in the preseason. So there's a little something there. But Tim, I would imagine where you're going with this is like, is he really 7 points worse than Derek Carr? Like this is Derek Carr we're talking about.
well, look, it's 3 and a hook, and you're laying it on the road, divisional opponent, and I'm not playing the other way. I'm just giving you like natural.
No, I
nat-
like
Aligned,
the insight.
aligned.
Like,
I
and I-
appreciate it.
like I'll ask you this, right? So, do you think Derek Carr and the Saints offense, how well they played the first 2.5 weeks of the season, whatever it
Yep.
was? Do you think that was more about the offensive coordinator or Derek Carr?
Coordinator, yeah.
So
No, I get your point for sure. I just would say I would say more coordinator, but Carr played a part in it. He's always been able to show flashes. I would be shocked if Rattler comes in and is able to emulate that.
The only
I also think the Bucks are a very good team. I don't know if
Yeah,
I'm
I'm-
overrating them.
Yeah, I feel like you're way overrated. I was super low on them. I think their pasty hasn't been very good. Vita Vea came back. They haven't been much better.
Well, that's my
against the
point.
run.
Their pasty hasn't been good, and they build off the run. And if their pasty can't be, it was similar to what I was saying about the Browns last week. If Deshaun can't take advantage of the bad Commanders' pasty, I don't think the Saints can take advantage.
I
of
think
the bad
Rattler can still fling it. The biggest question here is some rookie quarterbacks, right? Like Bo Nix, they were checking everything down. They're letting him game manage the game. That's where I do prefer quarterbacks that if I'm taking the points as a rookie quarterback, I want those types, less variance. Whereas Rattler, he can turn the ball over in high volume situations, but he can also play vertically and
but
can also
yeah.
So
Bo
to
Nix
me,
is
it's kind of
also
a coin
first
flip.
round pick, and Spencer Rattler is a 5th round pick. There's a big talent gap, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I don't know.
but technically Rattler's supposed to be talented.
Yeah.
Right. No, it's a lot of question marks.
Like if Rattler goes and plays at Oregon in that
honestly,
offense.
I'm excited to watch because I think there's a 5% chance he throws for 350 and 3 touchdowns, and I think and that'll be fun. And I think there's a 95% chance he sucks. So
I don't hate the fate of a rookie quarterback. I hate that it's a road divisional matchup and the hook. Like if we were talking about all the
it's a
things,
recipe for disaster.
yeah,
and I
to
fucking
check
want it
off.
all.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Timbo.
Tim, what do you got?
No, it doesn't go. It should go to Jack. No, it really goes to me.
No, to you.
Okay. Well, now everyone turn off your YouTube or skip ahead because.
Wait. Time out. Vibes wise, right? You're 1-4 in the season. Process has been strong. You had the bad beat week 1, so you're really 2-3 in my head. And the week prior, you went like 7-1. How'd you do last week in the NFL?
Evened. Got just vigged out.
Okay. All right. So throw some names and numbers out there.
Well, that doesn't matter. You get one pick on the show. That's
one pick.
And I should have chose the Cardinals as my.
I know that was the funniest part. Is you not only got the pick wrong, but you picked wrong between one correct.
By the way, what's crazy and so un-Tim like is the Saints ended up being the public side of it all.
Yeah, that was shocking, actually.
And I went against my numbers because I had the numbers right, and I just tried to fade the Kansas City luck, and they are just the Patriots now. Like they are the old Patriots.
It doesn't matter who, it doesn't matter when or where.
They have they have 9 lives. Every single, and I'm not talking about like a ref thing. I'm talking about the ways that you have to beat them. It's like, okay, you got to win on first down, got to win on second down. It's, third and short, third and long, you pick it. Like Kansas City finds a way to pick it up. Their defense has been outstanding. So, I'm going to try and find another way to make my money than fading the Kansas City Chiefs for now. But what pick do you want? Do you want my contest pick or do you want my best bet, I guess?
Give us
what is the difference?
No, because the numbers and the lines they've moved. Give us first your pick for the show. So coming out, we're moving to 2-4 through 6 weeks. What pick is that going to be?
Wait, so there's that contest or pick?
Contest or okay. for this contest, yes.
For the show.
For the show.
But don't we use
what are we fucking doing?
What are we doing? He has to give a fucking pick for the show.
No,
and it better be his best bet.
The pick that we're going to input in the show, he's saying because some of the lines are different, so he might bet something he likes more based on odds that are out versus the show odds are going to be
pick
different.
For the show first.
That we're going to input.
Yes.
The Titans.
Okay. I like Tennessee +1 over Indianapolis. These idiots in Indianapolis, these freaking morons, okay? Shane Steichen just said that there's no quarterback controversy. Anthony Richardson is the guy if he's healthy. He's back practicing, limited, but, this is early in the week. Sounds like, all signs are pointing to Anthony Richardson playing. And anyone with 2 eyes can see that Joe Flacco has been the better quarterback than Anthony Richardson. I think it's astonishing. One of the first things I did on Sunday, or when they announced that Flacco was going to be starting for Indianapolis, I bet him plus 3.5 against Jacksonville last week because I said, how does this thing go from 3 to 3.5 with Flacco being named the starter? Some of that was Jonathan Taylor as well, but I think I think Flacco for right now is a massive upgrade over Richardson. Just listen, Joe Flacco last week, 33 completions against Jacksonville. Anthony Richardson has 39 completions throughout this entire season. And this too is an Indianapolis defense that just this Gus Bradley defense. They are the worst second half defense in football. They allow an average of 16.8 points per game in the second half. Like they don't make Gus Bradley refuses to make adjustments. And this is a Tennessee team. And again, it's a big if Will Levis can make sure that he doesn't turn the ball over, but they run the ball effectively. They play good defense. I think we get a low scoring game here, kind of a low variance type thing. The only play that Richardson has when he's in the game is to throw the ball deep. And this Titans secondary is good enough to limit those explosive plays. So I think here off of a bye that Tennessee is really good value.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, if
are we confirmed that Richardson's playing?
He's starting to practice again.
Got it.
And he said he feels a lot better. And again, the fact that Steichen basically was like, he's our guy makes me feel like he's going to be pushed closer to playing, if that makes sense. Like if he's like, he's not going to be held out. So if he's cleared, he's playing, it sounds like, which I think he will be cleared.
And AR's strength is the dual threat and being a big body, hard to take down. And the Colts, if they really believe this is their franchise quarterback, they're going to need to make a decision at some point. Like the fact that they ran him, the play after he got injured, leading to him getting injured again is insane. And I feel like if they believe in him long-term, they're going to have to draw that back. And then that takes away half of AR's strengths. So they're either going to have to make a decision, play him at his strongest and risk losing him forever, or draw him back and play him at I agree. I think it's...
Well, if he gets hurt, it's not like they put him out. Like, he'll still be alive.
But it'll be a Tua thing. They can't just keep wearing him down and wearing him down.
I mean, look, it's really a play on Tennessee's defense. And I think that
Tennessee's defense is great.
Yeah, Tennessee's pass defense, if you want to just use EPA, they're a top 10 team against the pass, EPA wise. And then again, I said, them on offense, obviously they're limited with Levis and the turnover factor. They're fine rushing the ball. They rank about the middle of the pack, but when they can, this Indy rush defense is dreadful. I mean, how many quarterbacks did they play? Or excuse me, I just think back to the Green Bay game with Malik Willis. It's like, they're going to go and run a high school offense against you, and you still can't stop it. Gus Bradley refuses to make in-game adjustments.
All right, give us your best bet of the week, just so we can have something in our pocket for the record, for the off-the-record record.
I would feel best about getting the Chargers 2.5 in the contest. So I'm a tie between those two. Actually, the more I talked about Tennessee, the more I actually just like that instead, if we want to roll with that. But I also really like this, Chargers laying 2.5 at Denver. Bo Nix, he's still a bottom 5 quarterback in the league, right? I think we can compliment Denver for what they've done, but this is still a Denver team that, they go and they upset the Jets, and we look back at the Jets and we're like, are they just really that good? Like, that game was also played in a cyclone. So you look at this Chargers team coming off a bye, getting Alt healthy is arguably more important than having Herbert fully healthy. Alt's been back at practice. Herbert's practicing as well. Denver has faced the 10th easiest schedule in the NFL so far. I think that this is an opportunity to sell on Denver here and lay it with the Chargers. A Chargers team that I think, if you look at the small sample size of games that we've seen this season, with Herbert being limited, with the injury wise, I don't think the stats and numbers tell the full story about the Chargers. I trust them far more than I trust Denver, despite what Denver's done.
Do you ever just look at a number and it just completely terrifies you off a pick? Because that's how I'm feeling about Chargers under a field goal right now. I assume that's all the injury stuff, the 2 starting tackles, Bosa, you mentioned Herbert. Is that why we're getting under a field goal right now? Because I look at that and I think this is terrifying because it's so easy.
You think it should? So what do you think it should be?
3 over 3 for just being that, Broncos stink, Chargers off a bye, Chargers are a household name, Herbert's a stud quarterback, Bo Nix sucks, or
What-
is it that, Broncos are winning games, everyone's starting to jump on that side now?
Well, what you're saying, right? If you think it should be 3.5, right? Denver 1.75, 2 points home field. That means 5.5 neutral. Like, to me, that's still a little long. I think that's too far. To me, under the field goal is really what makes me feel comfortable here, because Denver's D is still really good. Like, don't get it twisted. Them getting a field goal at home in the division, a lot of signs would point to, hold your nose and take Denver there. But I think under the field goal rather, and I took a money line when the line opened because I just didn't want to mess with the points. I think getting 3 in this game is almost, I think expect a low scoring game, totals at like 37. So I feel way better about 2.5 or money line if you're just going to play it that way.
Want to give your pick?
Sure. I'm just upset at Tim for discounting my guys right now.
Who are your guys?
Discount double check.
Rodgers?
I'm rolling with the Jets.
Oh, no.
Plus
X.
2.
I'm on this too.
If you're using your X, you have to take Buffalo.
No, our pick turns into Buffalo.
Yeah.
Yeah, X'd.
Okay.
I was
Next.
considering it. I don't blame him. I think this is a terrible spot, but give your Jets
It's the
reasoning
most-
for other people.
Yeah, I'm curious your Jets.
No, no,
reasoning.
go ahead.
No, maybe you can
Go
talk
ahead.
me off it.
Go ahead.
No, you
Give
go.
me your Bills.
My Bills is very, very simple. Turmoil in New York. No turmoil in Buffalo, just coming off a couple tough losses. I think they bounce back. I think that crowd is going to be 50-50 split. I don't feel like it's going to feel like a away game for the Bills. Bills Mafia travels well, and it's in New York. Jets don't pack out MetLife ever. And
Oh, yeah,
not
that's
that-
got to be at worst at least 3 points, right?
I knew
mean,
I was about to get to. Crowd is not my handicap, but
then why are you talking about it?
No,
Because it's a fucking piece of it.
Time out. That was fair. 50-50, that is accurate.
because don't they give fucking points for home field, Tim?
They do.
Barely.
They do.
Well, sometimes you just said 1.5, and then I wouldn't be comfortable betting the Broncos 5.5. Or they do. You
They
can't
do.
have it
Why
both
are you
ways
screaming?
because it's getting me fired up.
Okay.
I,
Can you finish the handicap?
I think the Jets suck. I think the Bills are still good. That's pretty much the entire handicap.
What points you to the Bills being good through 5 games?
They have the third best quarterback in the NFL. I think the reason that the Ravens found a ton of success against the Bills is due to running the ball. I saw something that they play the same defense that has them lighter. I'm being serious. It has them lighter, like positionally how
Yes,
they play.
They play a
with, like, the
lighter
nickel.
scheme.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And the reason the Ravens had so much success is you go power against that. Ricard, Derrick Henry, they had a ton of problem. The Jets have struggled immensely to run the ball. Rodgers is banged up coming home from London. I think Bills, easy bet.
Okay.
It was my
I
second
think it
favorite
was
play.
sound. I think it was sound. It was good logic.
Thank you up.
He's coming with
All right.
vibes, and I know part of your handicap, Jack, is going to be Saleh fired. Let's get the boys, rally the fucking troops. But they're going to another defensive guy. They're upgrading the defensive coordinator, and Nathaniel Hackett's still there. So you're telling me that the defense is the biggest issue? I just think the offense can't move the ball a ton.
And
They're last in the
real quick-
NFL in rushing yards per game. It's no help to this old quarterback.
I'm not
just
sure
don't
the
see it.
Bills. I'm not sure the Bills will take it this way. But after you have an international game, you have the choice of taking your bye after this game, and that's a real thing. It happened last year. I forget what the two teams were, but they said it after. We knew that they had the opportunity to take the bye against us. We took that as disrespect, and I mean, you guys can keep fucking shaking your heads and pouting and whatever. Well, give your
I think-
brilliant fucking reasoning of why you want to take the Jets against the fucking Bills.
I honestly think out of all your handicaps, the Bills looking at the Jets not taking the bye as disrespect was your worst take.
Sure, you can think whatever the fuck
Okay.
you want.
Here's why I like the Jets. I understand you don't love the Jets.
It's not just me. You watch them.
I watched
Two plays, they're 4-1, but they're not.
But like this is how the NFL works, right? You just can't overreact week to week. If you overreact week to week, what happens is you end up thinking the Saints are going to be the best team in the league. And then you think the Bills are the best team in the league. And then you think the Ravens are going to miss the playoffs. And then you think Cincy is going to miss the playoffs.
Nothing you just said applies to me.
I'm just saying, everyone who's all out on the Jets, you do need to consider the underlying metrics. Tim talks about luck. Like these things, not always. I will say, like there are teams that just falter with bad luck for the entirety of a season, and you could even point to certain things for that reasoning. Addition by subtraction with Salah.
Yeah, give your handicap.
The Salah thing is very real. I understand what Uppy's saying. They're just replacing a defensive guy with a defensive guy. But Robert Saleh as a head coach has been a nightmare for the last 3 years. He
and
just
who's
has.
to say this guy Bricky is going to be any better?
Because this is what happens when a new coach comes in. It's less about scheme. It's more about energy and changing the vibe. And if there's anyone who runs off energy, you want to talk vibes, it literally is Aaron Rodgers. The dude is a freak show, and he has hated Robert Saleh from the day he got there.
Not what he said on McAfee today.
Yeah, because he's always telling you shit. So I do think you've got addition by subtraction for 1 week. I don't know how long it's going to last. I'm not predicting it to turn out like Antonio Pierce, where vibes are high for many, many weeks. But I do think you get this 1 week bump. You're getting a divisional opponent. You're getting 2.5 points at home. And I really do think there's credence to say that the Jets are 2 plays away from being 4-1. And we probably look at them a little differently in this spot. I'm not even talking about like they didn't play well against Minnesota. They dominated Minnesota. If Sam Darnold doesn't make that interception saving, like they're up 10-0 and the game is over for the Jets and they would have won there. And then in MetLife, when he missed the field goal, if Zerline makes the field goal, they're 4-1, even though they had an absolute dud. So I just don't think, my opinion, we've overreacted to the Jets record and thus being the handicap. Yes, they're struggling to run the ball. You talk about how the Ravens were able to take advantage. If there's a get right spot, it's probably against a team.
I don't think it's not like the Commanders secondary. The Bills rush defense isn't a get right spot.
Why not? Is it like
It's
a top
not
5
that bad.
unit?
No.
Okay, so they may be able to run the ball a little better. And for all that's being said about Aaron Rodgers and he's 40 and he's injured, I actually think Rodgers has looked pretty decent this season. Maybe I'm naive,
You're watching
but
some different football.
like I just don't think he's been that bad. He's still got zip on the ball. I think it's a scheme thing. I would agree with that. Like
It's staying the same.
Put Aaron Rodgers in Shane Steichen and the Colts offense. And okay, stop shaking your hands because you're not letting me finish and you're not listening to me. So if you listen, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Rodgers and Steichen.
What I'm saying is Rodgers doesn't look bad. The scheme looks bad.
Sure.
And what you're saying, you were just saying Rodgers does look bad. So you weren't in agreement. Now you're moving the goalpost and you're saying that it's not Rodgers that looked bad unless you think he looks bad.
He clearly has looked bad.
You think Aaron Rodgers, the players look bad, or in Hackett's bad offense?
No, I think he missed a disguised defense through a pick six. He overthrew Lazard into triple coverage. That's a pick. And then he underthrows. He completely misses a spot on an interception that loses them the game against the Vikings.
They also dropped 4 balls that would have changed the complexion of the game. So I don't think Rodgers looked bad. Maybe that's a bad take on my part. Josh Allen has looked like a bottom 5 quarterback the last 2 weeks. So take that for what it's worth. You just can't overreact too much. I like the Jets in this spot. I think they're going to win straight up. If they lose this game, sure, sell the house. But I don't overreact, based off records.
Tim, can I get your reasoning?
I think Jack was he established a pretty good foundation here. Look, I would worry about a team coming back from London not taking the bye, not because of an FU to the other team, just because obviously it's exhausting. However, they do get the extra day, Monday Night Football, and for as exhausting as that can be, I think that's almost extinguished by the new coach bump and by, again, for 1 week. And this really is a foxhole Jets type game, right? Like Aaron Rodgers is in control there, right? I think we all can agree on that. So it's a last stand for them. right? They broke glass in case of emergency, fired the coach, and so to me, we're going to get as good of a Jets motivational performance as I think we can get, and to have that we know in the NFL in Week 6 at a long season, I think is something that you can't quantify in making a power rating.
I think
Is
we've
Aaron,
just overrated the coaching bump a bit. I was a huge believer, and then I actually saw the numbers from our guy Evan Abrams. Since 2003, 38 teams have fired their coach in season. There's 17 and 21 straight up the following week. There's just not this huge bump.
whoa, time out.
17, 21, they're under 500. So 50,
time out. Hey,
win.
Donald Trump. Can you read the rest of Evan Abrams' statistic there?
Well, I don't need that part. The spread is
No,
minus two,
that's
so
not
it's
the way to do it.
negligible.
That's not the way to do it. You freaking moron. That is not the way to do it. Jesus Christ. Read the whole stat.
And they are 22 and 16 against the spread as well. But this is -2. It's a negligible spread.
It's not negligible. This is the fine margins of football.
What are you
Oh,
talking
fuck.
about?
Tim's
What
about
are
to
you
blow.
talking about? What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
Uppy, I'd love to take your side on this one, but you can't do that.
You can't just throw 2.5 points out.
So in the contest, right? We got screwed because of that Saints hook, right? The 2.5. So we should have got a win. Like the contest graded us incorrectly.
I would love to take your side, but yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, that was a little misleading. I'll admit that.
All
And
right,
also you're forgetting too, like mostly these teams that fire their coach are already bad. So the number matters, not just the straight up record.
right. That's a very good point.
That's a great
Like
point.
most
That's
of them are
actually-
like 4 or 5.
So they're
6
bigger
point
dogs, so they
underdogs.
stink.
Yes.
So the spread
this
matters
was
more than
this
the
was
straight.
a shocking firing, at least for me. Not that he shouldn't have been fired. More so, you thought maybe they lose this game, then they
All
fire
right,
him. Look.
I'll
The Jets.
rescind my ex due to there is a slim chance that Rodgers is like, everyone thinks this is on me. I'm gonna go out there and just like show you prime Aaron Rodgers stuff. Like I see prime time.
That's
it's
why
a
I'm-
fuck you to the world. That's his favorite thing in the.
But
anywhere.
that's
Yes,
why I'm
yes.
that's why I'm challenging you, because if you think
What do you
that
mean challenging me?
on Rodgers isn't playing well,
Well,
'cause
he's not.
if you
I'm
th-
taking this one spot. I'll allow it.
No,
like
no.
what Tim said. Foxhole.
But time out.
Fuck you to the world.
But you're saying he could come out and give that FU performance. If we're talking that old Big Ben, that Wash Phillip Rivers, where they literally couldn't throw, even in a spot, even
no, I've never. He throws the ball well. That doesn't mean he's playing well.
he's not washed, he's not garbage, and
I
he's
didn't say
still
any of that. I just said he's not playing
four-time
well.
MVP. Right. So also, just for the record, I know Nathaniel Hackett has been pinned as his guy and all this. Maybe there is a little Robert Saleh influence, right? Because remember, it's not like the Jets' offense has been good over the last few years, even pre
Never
Nathaniel
had a
Hackett.
quarterback or an offensive line.
Okay, but good coordinators and good offensive minds make a difference. So maybe Hackett, for the record, also Nathaniel Hackett was good at some point in his career.
All right. Well, we're riding with the Jets. It could be an Aaron Rodgers fuck you performance. If you don't get that, they have 0% chance of winning.
A legit handicap, though, that I just want to make sure gets on the record. The Jets defense is fantastic. Like their early season, first couple games where they didn't look great, I think has really dropped their numbers. The pass rush had been a question mark, and then they had like 5 or 6 sacks last game. I think they're a top 5 unit. And when you face off with a team that does not have weapons, that is a matchup that sometimes can really start to grow.
Yeah. I don't know. They don't have pass rush, and Sauce is
They just have
a holding merchant, and I think they benefit a lot from Aaron Jones getting hurt. They couldn't run the ball anymore. But anyways, on to Uppy's pick.
All right, boys. Tried to get sharp last week with the Browns. Felt like the perfect spot. I'm going to go pretty square here. Lions, -3, 3.5. I like both. On the road at Dallas, this is really a fade of the Cowboys coming off that massive win. didn't look great, turned the ball over a ton. That's kind of what Dak does in these underdog spots. He's 17, 18 ATS in his career as a dog. And
Well,
we
wait,
saw
what's
that.
the straight up? I thought straight up.
Yeah, what are the 3 points matter?
Yeah,
in
what are
this
3 points?
situation?
Put them in the garbage can. What does that matter?
All right, and this is a fade of the Cowboys defense mainly. They look decent against the Steelers team that absolutely stinks, but looks like Micah Parsons isn't going to go again. He did not practice today. He was with the rehab team. They also lost Marshawn Nealand. He was starting in place of Parsons. So he is now on the IR. So they're going to be down to, some third, fourth string defensive linemen. If you can't get pressure on Goff, he's going to just absolutely pick them apart in the dome. So there's nothing to worry about in terms of that. That's a huge boost always for Goff. And I just think the Lions are a really good team. I think they'll be able to run the ball very successfully. Mozzie Smith, that defensive tackle in the middle that the Cowboys drafted in the second round, he's 121 out of 123 on PFF. So the guy's a bum.
Damn, he's
That's
got a
not gonna give
family.
him
You don't have to kill Mozzie like that.
That's not going to give him a boost against the run. I just don't think this Dallas defense is very good. And then Dak in an underdog role against a pretty solid Lions defense. I think he's going to turn the ball over like we saw. And I think the Lions win this pretty convincingly. Play this up to 6, folks.
Yeah, I mean this has got to be the squarest play on the board.
Is
this
it?
week.
Is it really?
Has to be. I mean,
we were in London,
Dak
so
sub.
we didn't watch the Sunday night football game. Is this really going to be that square?
Yeah,
Cowboys getting
soft
3.5.
Lions coming off a convincing win against the Seahawks. I mean,
Well, they had the bye.
Well, coming off a
Has to
bye
be.
is, so maybe people forgot about him for a week. I think off a bye is even more important. It's going to be
Yeah,
very
people forgot
square,
about the
but
Lions, the fourth favorite to win the
I
Super
will
Bowl,
say,
probably.
I knew I was forgetting a team today.
You would think that it would be like I thought the Saints would be a pretty sharp play. I think the public is just getting inundated by like a million fucking gambling shows, so they're hearing so much information that they are now more educated and they're taking sharper things. They're
The
playing.
public's getting killed
underdogs.
this year. The public's getting killed this year.
Yeah, Tim, can you tear this play apart, please?
No, here's the thing. I loved Dallas plus 3.5, and I didn't.
Me too.
And I didn't play it because too many people I respect were on the Lions, and
including
Does that include
including
Uppy?
Uppy.
Yeah.
That's the main person.
yeah, I really. No, so Uppy, right? You say that Dallas played Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh is their offense is dreadful, right? So you said.
Yeah, by my 2 eyes.
Didn't you bet Pittsburgh on Monday night?
Yeah,
I don't know if that's fair. He's a Steelers fan, and
No, but I think this is that game delay in the rain on the road, AFC North in Pittsburgh. Like that is the prototypical game where it's like, yeah, the Cowboys don't really win that one, and I think that could be like a gritty performance that ignites this Cowboys team a little.
The Cowboys should have won that game by 20. To be fair.
Really?
Yes.
Easily.
They turned the ball over, I think, 3 times in the red zone.
in the red zone. Yeah, picks in the end zone.
Yes.
Blocked field goal. Yeah, I mean they should have absolutely dominated.
Yes. I think the yard, like if you pulled up the yardage, I think it's outrageous. No, Dallas offense looked great. It was the finishing drives, but that's kind of Pittsburgh's MO, right? They're going to do that to you. To me, I wanted to play Dallas here because I think that their offense can still keep them in ball games.
Yep.
And to be getting, at the time, 3 and a hook at home felt generous to me. What I can't get out of my head is what Aiden Hutchinson can do to this offensive line that, couldn't block Watt against Pittsburgh. And the fact that it really does play styles make fights, and this Dallas defense plays right into how Detroit's offense wants to attack them. It feels like a very hope and pray betting Dallas here, but I look at a home dog of 3+, and it's hard for, it's hard for me to not look at that. And I also gave Dallas a lot of credit. They found some semblance of a run game against Pittsburgh, and that's difficult to do. So,
Well, not the matchup to look to expand on that. I mean, Detroit's run D has just stifled everyone. I'm actually surprised it feels that public. You get the star and you get 3 points at home, but I guess the Vegas
public sentiment is that the Cowboys are atrocious.
Really?
I think, yeah.
I find that shocking. My only worry.
Well, this
here,
open
I mean,
3.5 came down to 3.
It's either like they're amazing or they're awful. Like no one's ever in between.
No, my
they're
buddy who's
polarizing.
a Cowboys fan said this is his least fun season he's ever had watching the Cowboys. So I do understand that sentiment can still stand. You've got Detroit should run all over them. My actual worry here is that Dallas is going to be one-dimensional. Like they already can't really run the ball, and they're going to run into this Lions run defense. But this is when the Cowboys are at their best, is when Dak is just flinging the ball downfield. And it just creates so much variance because you could obviously get 2 pick sixes and they kill them. But the Lions' pass defense is atrocious. I mean, Geno Smith threw for 400 on them. They have not been good, really, under Campbell at all. One thing to note that I saw, I think Chris Long, I think it's his podcast, they were talking about the Lions effect. So it doesn't apply to this week, but when teams have played the Lions, the week after, it's been an absolute disaster. So week 1, the Rams play them. They then go, I mean, obviously the injuries, but this was one of Tim's pick. They got routed by the Cardinals. Then week 2, they play the Bucs. The Bucs lose 26-7 to the Broncos at home. The Cardinals, they play week 3. The Cardinals go and lose by 30 to the Commanders. And then the Seahawks, they put up a dud after playing the Lions against the Giants last week. So they play Dallas. Dallas next week. Let's see who they play. They're on a bye,
Yeah.
so we're gonna have to save that.
Also,
nugget,
one
but
thing about the Cowboys is
Let me just add to Jack real quick before you hold that thought. This used to happen to the 49ers
Yes,
when they were real
yes.
good. It used to happen to Alabama, Georgia, and Clemson in college as well. Teams after playing Clemson it was the same exact thing. So it's about, overly physical teams. And I think we both agree that Detroit is built tremendously well in the trenches.
Yeah.
The one thing about the Cowboys I will say is the Saints and the Ravens back-to-back weeks shredded them on the ground. And then since then, the 2 games, they've played worse teams, but it looks like they've adapted to that. The Giants have actually run the ball fairly well, and they didn't against the Cowboys that next week after the Ravens. Tyrone Tracy just ran for 130 yards. And then the Steelers didn't run the ball that well against the Cowboys defense. I think they've made adjustments since week 2 and 3 getting shredded on the ground that, again, worst teams, you go from Saints, Ravens to Giants, Steelers. But if they've made some changes to the run game, it could be
but
real thing.
My argument would be Najee Harris isn't in the same stratosphere as Gibbs.
I will say also, who's their DC these days? They replaced Quinn with that schmuck. Is it Schottenheimer or whatever?
It's Zimmer.
Zimmer.
Yeah, real schmuck.
He's the worst.
He was one of the best ATS coaches during his tenure in Minnesota.
He's still a schmuck. You don't think he's a schmuck?
I think Zimmer's.
You think he's a good coach? You think
I think he's a good guy.
Minnesota when Zimmer was there, I think it was them and the Patriots were the 2 best ATS teams during his time there.
I personally am not high on Zimmer, especially in the year of 2024.
That's fair. 2024 is fair.
That's fair. I think he also had some health
well, that's what I'm talking
lost,
about.
Sight, so I
Yeah,
don't think you can say.
Also,
let's not throw around schmuck.
Hold on. Well, it's, for me, it's a Jewish word. It's not as maybe offensive as you think it is. But what I was gonna say is, matchup wise, Ben Johnson extra week to prep against Mike Zimmer in 2024. I think I lean on Ben Johnson.
In the world where, unless you think Gibbs is one of one, we've even seen Derrick Henry, who's been unreal this year, struggle in certain situations. I think either defenses are letting running backs run all over them or they're not, and the running back itself only makes such a difference. So yes, I agree. Demont and Gibbs are a different beast than Cordarrelle Patterson and Najee Harris. But if they've adapted their run game to do way better, Gibbs and Demont aren't going to be the reason that they get then shredded again.
It's more about the quality of the rush offense, and they have a top 5 rushing.
That's fine. All I'm saying is the Giants actually do have kind of a quality running offense, believe it or not.
All right, let's go to the consensus.
Jack, real quick though, I think you that was kind of the point I was getting at with liking Dallas. Was that when some of these teams, when they get forced to get one dimensional, it's actually helpful. That's why I leaned with Cincinnati last week, was because it's like, okay, Burrow's gonna have to throw the ball. That's
Right.
the best quality about the
Yeah.
Cincinnati Bengals.
And then they
team.
lost because they tried to run it 3 straight times.
Yeah.
And then kicked a 53.
They lost because they missed a field goal, but or
That's
they
what I'm saying.
They missed the hold.
They didn't put it in Burrow's hands. Yeah.
All right, consensus. We know the consensus, right?
What?
We all agreed last week on this week's consensus.
I don't remember.
The
I don't
Bears.
remember
They
either.
flew to London on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah,
Aren't we
yeah,
betting
yeah.
on the Bears minus
Oh.
2.5?
I think this doesn't apply with
The Jags?
when Jacksonville's involved.
I had a feeling you were
No
going to say that.
way.
I wanted you not to say
Oh,
that
that's
because
a-
I
that's a
wanted
good
to smash
point.
the Bears,
That's a
and then
good
I was like,
point.
the Jags,
Yeah.
they do this.
That's a
Yeah.
good point. But,
Yeah,
but different roster, maybe. But they
Same
went last
roster,
year,
yeah.
I think.
They do this over and over again. If there's a
Go
team,
every single year.
Yeah.
We're built for this.
Yeah, that's why I wish you didn't say it. Fuck. I have one to throw out if it interests anyone.
Okay, Browns plus 8.5.
Why'd you just interrupt me?
Do you guys like it?
I can't do it. I can't do it.
I can't
do it.
fucking
What?
do it again.
I can't do it again. I
There's
can't.
some teams
So
that are
many
just
points.
terrible, and the pros are on them every single week, and it's going to be Cleveland. They're going to get fucking blown out. Next week it'll be 14. Then you got to take them as 2 touchdowns. We can't. They're going to keep losing by fucking 20 points every single week until
No
there's
shot.
a change made.
I
They
can't
won't-
do it.
I mean, even though it's Philly, I'm super low on Philly. It's disgusting. I can't.
Okay.
Until it's Winston, I won't even.
I can't bet them plus 20.
But time out. We're not even going to be able to bet on the Browns with Jameis because the over adjustment, everyone's going to assume he's worth like 400 points. And
Vibes in the locker room, he could be.
vibes wise, he could be.
But then they
all
get
right.
blown out with Winston, and then we'll get him the next week when
Okay,
Winston's
all right.
getting like 8.5.
Okay.
Okay. You guys are not gonna like this, but I got off the wrist hill, and Burrow is great. But 3.5 in New York feels like a lot to me. What are people's thoughts?
I don't hate that take. I mean, the Giants are playing motivated football, and I think their defense has been really strong. I think where Burrow thrived against the Ravens was some pretty basic coverages by the Ravens. He was kind of just dinking and dunking. He made some wonderful throws as well. And I think with the Giants defense, they could cause havoc. Do you love it though?
I don't love it. I mean, outside of the week 1, they gave up 28 points, but like you hold the Commanders' offense to 21 points. The Browns scored 15. The Cowboys only scored 20, who we appreciate as a good offense. The Seahawks put up 27 against the Lions. They only put up 20 against the Giants. Like, this Giants defense is for real.
It's on the MetLife turf.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it does get freaky on the MetLife
I'm just like,
turf.
this Bengals defense is as bad as I was saying.
But can they take advantage, right? That's what we
I
always
thi-
say.
Dang,
Neighbors
they've-
isn't going to play. No Neighbors, I'm out. I will say.
They run the ball well.
I don't care. No Neighbors, I'm out.
I bet Cincy on the money line. So
Well,
Okay.
You're getting 3.5.
no,
As Uppy showed, points don't matter.
All
It's
right,
win
on to
or
the
you-
next.
I think that something to with the Bengals still is like this team's 1-4, and the games that they've lost combined by 15 points.
Exactly. They play close games. That's why I like the 3.5 because their defense
That's
is
a good
always
spin.
going to
Aren't
give
they
up
just-
points.
It's
Dude.
not a bad spin.
Aren't they just due for their defense to get like 2 to 3 stops or turnovers?
No. I
too,
don't
and they
think you
win by
I
2
genuinely don't
touchdowns?
think you understand how bad the defense is.
But aren't they gonna just at some point get a handful of stops?
You
and
said
blow a team
at
out?
some point
And
some
this could
point
be
about
the
the
point.
Browns Commanders last week. Maybe we don't do the at some points.
All right. I'm throwing out my second favorite pick for the week, and I think it's something that.
Oh wait, sorry, but what about the Chargers?
Oh, I like Denver.
Oh, I liked the Chargers as well.
I leaned Denver.
Harbaugh off a bye.
So, Jim Harbaugh off a bye?
Well, John's
his-
not their coach.
Because his brother's good off a bye? Is Jim
Yeah,
Harbaugh?
their family's good off a bye.
Okay.
He's,
Harbaugh,
Anyone have the
18.
stats from Harbaugh off a bye at Michigan or
Yeah,
with the 49ers?
I do.
His time at the
That's why I
Niners,
love
he
you.
was good on extended rest.
Shocker.
I did see that.
Good teams are 10-2.
Wait, I want the stat from Tim first.
It's only I only have straight up. Which Toppy is gospel, so maybe it matters.
Are we gonna do this the rest of the fucking season?
Yes. Yeah, that was insane. You literally withheld information.
And you can't misquote our king of
goat,
the show.
yeah.
You know, that would just be rude.
All right. I want credit and respect because I've nailed the Panthers every week. I've been flip-flopping them. I played it right. I played it, fade them, ride them,
All
fade
right, we
them.
heard. Yeah, we get it. Stop glazing yourself.
Panthers plus 5.5 against Atlanta, I think is a great spot. Tim, run the stat. A team that loses by 20 points that's getting 4+ points the next week, that's always a good trend. I don't downgrade them that much because of the loss to Chicago. The handicap was exactly how I anticipated. It's the defense. Chicago's defense. I want people to get this on the record when I talk about Chicago. This is the best defense in the NFL, in my opinion. The Chicago Bears. Since they got Montez Sweat, they have been playing like the best unit. They've got a shutdown corner. They've got linebackers who are flying around. They've got a pass rush. So that was just a bad matchup.
All right, is he allowed to say position groups? I can't say players.
Fair.
He's like, they got the pass rush, the linebacking group.
Well,
come on, Tim.
No,
help me out.
I'm stating the levels of the defense, but I hear what you're saying. But yeah, I don't think Atlanta poses that threat, and I think you're getting 5.5 points. Divisional home.
This is
dog.
one of the first that jumped out to me.
The Falcons' defense is pretty good too.
Oh, they just got lit up against the Bucs.
But this is kind of a vibes thing. But those games where it's like the defenses just decide like I'm gonna sit this one out and let the offenses go back and forth is a real thing.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It was like the Seahawks-Lions game where you're just like, fuck it, let's all score. The Bengals-Ravens game, both defenses took off. Like, that happens. It really does. That happens.
Because the Bengals...
No, but they gave up...
You can't say how bad the Bengals D is and then say it was just a vibes thing. You're telling me the Bengals D has just been like, all right, let's vibe.
21 to the Eagles, 22 to the Chiefs, 18 to the Steelers, and 24 to the Saints. Like,
say the teams they've played again out loud in English.
Steelers 3-2 ball club, Eagles 2-2 ball club, Chiefs 5-0 ball club, Saints 2-3 ball club. Every team they've played has 2 wins.
Yeah, because they're names.
All right, we don't need to go back and forth. Do you guys like it? I don't.
I'm having a hard time with Carolina. It's
How? This is a money spot.
Maybe I'm just gun shy.
Falcons, the Atlanta. All right,
wait, why do you like the Broncos?
Let me say this out loud.
Uppy, what do you think of the Chargers? We could get 3 on this.
Just real quick. The Atlanta Falcons, led by Kirk Cousins, are laying a touchdown on the road in a divisional matchup. You're telling me that you're gunshot? How would you ever bet the Falcons in this spot?
I'm probably gonna bet it.
You're gonna bet
Carolina.
Oh, okay, all right.
Uppy, what do you think of the Chargers?
I like the Chargers. I like the Panthers slightly more.
So do you guys have 3 on the Panthers?
You ready for one?
Oh, here we go.
No, I know what he's saying.
He's gonna say the Commanders.
Nope. I know who it's gonna be.
It's gonna be Ravens.
Nope.
Jack, who do you think?
England. It's gonna be New England.
Washington.
Yeah, see, I told you.
Mm.
Can I? We don't have
Lamar laying a big number. I think.
No. But the NFC team offsets it.
We don't have to bet this game, but just the story of Washington, like we think that this is them in Minnesota, probably the 2 biggest adjustments of teams in the NFL so far, right?
Yep.
Improved from what we thought they were going to be, expectation.
Sure.
So in the summer, this line was Baltimore laying 8.5. And then look ahead, it was Baltimore laying 7. Now it's Baltimore 6.5. I would argue that we still have not adjusted enough for how good Washington is. Every week we say this is the week, and it's been me. This adjustment.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This adjustment. You we're going crazy here with Daniels. It has clearly not been enough. Week over week over week, 4 weeks in a row now. Sometimes it's just that Like, even if you just split the difference, right? Like, there's power
But
ratings like that sprayed Washington as a bottom 5 team. And now, like, little by little, these like, pick who you want for power rankings. They creep them up a little bit more every single week. And it's like, at one point, the adjustment should have been from, say, 24 to 15. Like, instead of going 24 to 22 to 20 to 18. Do you understand what I'm saying?
no, I agree. I mean, I literally said this last week. They're not going to regress. They're that good. We're going up a tier in, like, they haven't played the Lions, the Niners, the Chiefs, the Ravens. Like, we're going up a tier in skill level that they have not faced this entire year. I would argue the best team they
Wait,
played,
they played the very good Bucks.
yeah, who beat them by 17.
Week one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
we will.
I'm not even. But like, I think we're going up a tier in the team, and
Fifth
This could
easiest
be-
schedule. Fifth easiest schedule.
who
Washington
Commanders?
so far has played the fifth easiest schedule.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're going up a tier, and I don't want to.
Either put them on or take them off.
It's part of my speech. It's this could be wishful thinking, but in these spots, unless it was whatever the 20 something season, usually the Ravens defense is going to bounce back after getting shredded by the Bengals. So I think it'll be the offense will be unstoppable against this Commanders D, and the defense will bounce back after a hard showing against the Bengals.
I was shocked at the line. I thought it was going to be like 4.5. What this is saying is that the Ravens might be better than I even thought, because I was actually pretty high on the Commanders. Daniels was my number 1 drafted quarterback in fantasy. McLaurin was my number 1 wide receiver. I thought they could put it together. So I was probably higher than most. I thought this line wasn't going to be anywhere close to a touchdown. We own rookie quarterbacks.
NFC.
That the line scared me. Like, I agree with you. Lamar doesn't cover these big numbers at home off wins. Like, this is not the spot.
And with the 51.5 big total, variance is high.
No, I'm not clamoring for the pick. I genuinely wanted the two Ravens fans' opinions on this.
Yeah.
I haven't bet it. I don't know if I will bet it, but it's just like,
I'll say this.
I'm trying to open the door for the possibility of saying I was wrong, and that's even the adjustment can like still not be enough. And like what Casey said last week, like it's not enough.
Also, we have to imagine there's going to be a bad week for the Commanders at some point. This feels like a good opportunity. One of the conversations actually that I think maybe holds some credence. So Lamar Jackson is what now 21 against the NFC. Big part of that is they've never seen a player like him before. So I guess you could argue that the Commanders defense has a better chance. But what Ravens fans are saying internally is if there's ever a week that a team will be ready for a player, it's Jaden Daniels because of how Lamar Jackson practices against them. I'll say this, the adjustment-wise, maybe the market hasn't adjusted for Jaden Daniels. I've watched every snap of Lamar Jackson's career. He's a 2-time MVP. He's a special player. I have never in my life seen him play to this level. I promise you, he's the best player in the world right now. He's made a leap that I have not ever seen from him. Even when he won the first one, he threw 30 touchdowns. I'm telling you, this Lamar Jackson, because he's finally got his own offense and he's in control. I think that actually hasn't been adjusted for.
By the way,
Or it has.
the Lamar NFC number, it's a little bit uppy skewed. It's 21-1 straight up. It's 11-11.
Yeah.
It's 11-11 ATS.
For sure. And 6.5, lot of points.
All right, so I
hey,
think
Al Davis, just win, baby. That's all we care about here.
I think we're between the Panthers and the Chargers.
Or the Browns, plus 8.5.
No one wanted that. I don't think.
No one wanted that.
Will
Panthers
not,
or Chargers?
under any circumstances, bet the Browns until further notice.
Or Bears.
I like Jacksonville in that game, actually.
It's fair. They do like that. What about Las Vegas plus 2.5 against the Steelers?
I think we just need to make a decision off Panthers and Chargers.
Well, I'm just throwing it out there.
I think I would do Panthers.
Yeah, I like the Panthers.
All right, best of luck to us.
At least it's not the Browns, Casey. It could be worse.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to X our worst pick on the show ever, but I wasn't.
You didn't have
I wasn't
conviction.
brandished the opportunity.
Oh my! You're a fraud.
No, you forced me into doing some dumb shit when the goal is to have the best picks going into Sunday. I said, let me wait a second.
No, the goal is to get content.
Right, and we got the content out of it. All right, so Panthers it is.
All right.
We're just didn't we ban ourselves?
No, we banned Bryce Young.
Okay, fine.
On the X thing, you wanted to wait for these linemen, and then Wills even played. So how long were you waiting?
I don't know. It was never the fucking Browns.
It wasn't. Dog shit bet. I apologize.
They cover this week easily.
All right, so Panthers.
Panthers.
We have our final picks.
Yeah. No
Okay.
boy.
Tim, you want to recap our final spots?
Yes. The final spots are Jack, what are you again?
Jets plus 2.5. I avoided Casey's.
Yeah. Jack is the Jets on Monday night plus 2.5 hosting Buffalo. Casey is Tampa Bay laying 3.5 at New Orleans. Tim is Tennessee plus 1 hosting Indianapolis. Uppy, he is laying it with Detroit -3, -3.5. He likes it up to -6. And our consensus is Carolina catching the points against Atlanta at home.
All right, put your predictions down in the comments of our record for this week.
My number one prediction. I'm getting close to like wanting to use an X on yours.
Do it.
I'm not going to.
Right. So
I'll be on the Saints plus 3.5 for the record.
I'll be betting the Saints too.
Joe's
Casey's
versus pros, baby. Joe's versus pros.
Oh, look at that. Tennessee just got absolutely smoked.
Because they announced Richardson's practicing.
Tennessee just got fucking smashed.
What does that mean for those at home?
That means that a bunch of money just came in on Tennessee, literally all at the same time across every single book. It just painted a new number. It went from Tennessee +1 to Tennessee -1, like that.
Wow.
And you'll still play it. That number doesn't matter as much to you, right? You'll play.
I already
+1,
played the plus.
-1.
I already played the +1. So I'm okay.
No, I'm saying for the contest, for the show.
Yeah, I'll just take it. I might come out pick maybe.
Okay.
I'm fine with Tennessee -1 too.
In the case, just for I guess my own knowledge, Tennessee is +1. Are you more likely to play them on the money line, or you'll take the point?
Take the one.
And then when it moves to -1, same thought process.
Yeah.
Lay it.
You take, as I've been taught, is you take money lines on -2.5. Because
that's why you have the who'd you have money line?
Chargers.
Chargers.
It was 2.5. I took money line. Because
right, because the gap between -110 and what's the money line? -150.
You should be able to get 140, but these fucking cockroach books will charge you eventually -160 when everyone starts parlaying that team. So the parlay number will increase that money line. Yeah, Richardson throwing on the move today. Something he did not do all of last week. I don't know if it was news because he already was practicing like 2 hours ago.
I got a notification literally while we were streaming. It was a tweet notification that Anthony Richardson limited in practice Wednesday.
So that might have been a group.
But I guess that means he's going to play, yeah.
That might have been a group that hit that then. And also, too, there's certain times in the week when limits get taken off. So that's when sharp money really comes in. I think this time Wednesday is pretty much when that starts.
All right. Well, fam, we'll see you for week 7. Good luck in all of your bets. Hit the subscribe button. Next week, we got to figure out when we're doing the recording. Tim, Casey, and I will be down in Austin on Wednesday. We're doing a fun event with Colt McCoy on Thursday, seeing the #1 team in the country.